Just as we're starting to approach May, it seems that every time you come in this greenhouse, there's something else to do. And that's a good thing. Recently we sowed some cucumber seeds. And you can see that all 6 have germinated and they're on their way. And we always put them in these little packs. Then we move them on later as we need to. And you can see that they're not bad sized plants, considering these are just the seedlings that's just come out. Different story altogether when it comes to things like courgettes. That's a courgette seed that we planted just over a week ago. And that's the seedling that came out. And you can see there's a massive difference in size. Courgettes grow really quickly, so you don't want to be putting them in them little cells. Otherwise, you're going to have problems because the roots are going to get tangled around each other really quickly. This one, although it's only a week old, has already got roots coming out at the bottom. Very fast growing plants. And this is why we always say, when it's cold and the weather's up and down, don't worry too much about these type of plants, because they're faster growing than anything else. And now it is a little bit warmer day and night, these plants will grow very quickly. So there's no need to do them early and take risk of losing things like these. And we did about 4 of those. And again, you can see really big plants already. So in no time at all, we're going to have to be moving those on into a bigger container. I don't want to put them in ground, even though they're quite big plants just yet, because we have still got that risk of frost between now and 2nd week of May. But apart from that, they're very young seedlings and slugs love them. So there's a good chance that they'll pretty much destroy those leaves before they can put on the next set. So we'll grow them on in bigger containers until they get to a really good size, and then we'll either plant them in containers or in ground. Completely the different end at scale is these tiny little seedlings. That's little gem lettuce, and we just multi-sowed quite a lot of seeds in here just to get a few lettuce out, and even that amount of lettuce is quite a lot. But even at that size, you can move them on into their own little packs, so you know they've got loads of room to grow to get to be more mature plants, and at the same time they're not going to get tangled up with the roots of the plants next to them. And what I do with things like that is I just move them into these 12 cell packs. Plenty of room to grow those on. For at least then you know you can grow them all on individually until you're ready to plant them out wherever they're going to be going. I'm going to move some of these lettuce seedlings on. Because the sooner they've got their own growing space, the quicker they're going to grow. And we're definitely looking forward to getting as much salad as we can as these days get warmer. When it comes to doing little seedlings like this, I always like to make sure that I water that compost in advance. It just makes it so much easier to get these tiny little seedlings in. So a really good watering, let it soak down, and then I just go over it again. And because they're only tiny seedlings, you'll not have to water this again for quite a few days. So when you look at it from this angle, you can see how tiny these seedlings are. And people have asked me if it's okay to move them on at that size, and it really is. But obviously you don't need to make massive holes. But I do always make them deep, because you never know how long that root system's going to be until you take these little seedlings out. So I just go down to the bottom of each cell. And that's why I water this compost before I start, because when you make these holes, they don't fall back in on themselves because it's dry. They stay exactly how you've put them. Which obviously makes life that little bit easier when it comes to taking these out and putting them in there. And I just use a pencil, carefully try and separate some off. You just have to be really careful when you do this, not to break them top leaves. And we're trying to get as much of that root system as we can. And you'll see just how long that root system is on this little plant already. That long. And this is why I always say, the longer you leave them, the more tangled that root's going to get to the plant next to it. So all we need to do with that is just feed that root system in and push it down, and then just pinch the whole thing together. When it comes to lettuce, you want to plant them as deep as you can. Like that. So you've only just got those leaves sticking above that compost. That's going to make a really nice stocky plant. And we have got another one next to it as well. So obviously you're going to lose a couple of your smaller seedlings when you do this. But what we're trying to do for the moment is fill a pack. So we've got 12 lettuces all good to go. And once again, very long root system. So we'll get that one in as well. When you do this, make sure that you keep those leaves off that compost as well, because you don't want them to be getting constantly wet and start rotting. So once you've planted it, you can just firm around underneath those leaves like that, and then you've got some clearance. You can see every single one is the same. That tiny little seedling with that really long root system. We've basically grown these in hardly any compost at all, and they don't take any space up. But we can get a lot of seedlings out of a very small container. So we'll get some more of these in. So obviously when I'm doing this, I'm going for the biggest ones that I can get. And even though you make a bit of a mess of this container while you're doing this, these little tiny ones, you can still just poke them back down and they'll just grow on. If any get slightly buried, they'll soon find their way back out that compost. Really easy job, but very worthwhile doing. And the more you do this, the easier and quicker you'll do it. And we've still got loads that we can leave in there to grow on. Easily another 4 packs worth. So a really quick, easy job to do. We'll pop a label in that so we know what they are. But we've got 12 perfectly good little gem lettuce plants now, all moved on into their own cells. When they're in cells this size, you could grow these lettuces to that high and they'll be perfectly alright before you need to move on. So even if you only do one little job a day like that, it's going to be well worth your time. And obviously we've pricked these out, we're growing these on now until they're ready to be put in the final place. But meanwhile, we've still got a few more tiny ones that in a week or so will also be big enough to prick out and move on. And in between then, we'll sow another little container with extra seeds. So there's no chance we're ever going to run out of salad from now right till end of season. And if you're interested in seeing what jobs we'll be doing tomorrow, please hit that subscribe button and press that notifications bell. And we look forward to seeing you then. Take care.